It's no secret that pretty much everyone loved Pokémon Legends Arceus, and it's also no secret that everyone wants more Legends games. Just like Sinnoh, the other regions of the Pokémon world have so much to offer in terms of lore that honestly, all of them could provide the perfect concept for other Legends games. And in this video, we are going to take a peek at what it could look like if Unova received a Legends game of its own, including what its characters could look like, what new Pokémon we could see, and what the story of this amazing potential game could be like as well. As a human being on this earth, one of the most discouraging things you can go through is losing your hair, and if you're especially unlucky, it could leave you looking like this. But Keeps, today's sponsor, can help you avoid a similar terrible fate. Keeps helps you to keep and regrow your hair with doctor-recommended treatment plans and products delivered straight to your door without ever having to leave your house to visit a pharmacy, and at half the cost of a traditional pharmacy. Whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, kickstart hair growth, or just take better care of what you already got, Keeps physicians will work with you to make sure you get the products that best fit your individual needs, with most customers getting noticeable results within 6 months of treatment. On top of that, every treatment plan comes with an entire year of unlimited messaging to your prescribing doctor, so you can ask questions and get answers anytime, anywhere. So to stop hair loss with Keeps and get 50% off your first order while doing it, you can go to keeps.com/hoopsandhiphop or by clicking the link in the description. That's keeps.com/hoopsandhiphop, and a big thank you to Keeps for supporting the channel and making videos like this possible. Okay, so getting into this concept now, the reason why I have chosen to highlight Unova in this video is because if we ever do get other Legends games, Unova is probably the most likely candidate to receive that treatment next. Obviously, with Sinnoh remakes out of the way, Unova is next in line to get the remake treatment, or in this case, the Legends treatment, and on top of that, it also has what is probably the best material to work with for a future Legends title. This is because a Legends game based in Unova could focus on the original dragon, a legendary Pokemon that existed long ago that was split up into Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, who was left over as a sort of shell after the region's twin heroes had fought over truth versus ideals. The twin heroes are also characters who, while we have seen them in the anime, have never appeared in-game, and so a game focused around them and the original dragon, a Pokemon that canonically exists but we have never seen before, has the makings of a phenomenal game, and due to its past setting, would fit the structure of a Legends game perfectly. In terms of what this game could actually look like, however, this is where it gets fun. Personally, I feel like if you're dealing with a Unova game set in the past, it would have to be based around the Revolutionary War period of the United States of America, because that is the single most significant event of America's past, and the founding of the US mirrors the concept of Legends Arceus perfectly, which was all about the founding of Sinnoh. So the colonial period of the US could very well be the basis here, with our protagonists potentially looking a little something like this. They would, of course, be ancestors to Hilbert and Hilda, and would have just arrived in Unova from Galar in order to settle this new region, which mirrors the United States' actual history of its founders coming from England. Now, before we move on, there is something that we do have to address, and that is the time frame of events of Unova's past. I imagine a Legends game with this concept would be based roughly around the same time period of its real-world counterpart, which would be around 250 years before the events of Pokémon Black and White. However, the events that this game would explore, such as the Twin Heroes and most importantly the original dragon, took place around 2500 years ago, according to the Gen 5 games. I don't personally think it's very realistic to set a game back that far in time, and so I don't think it would happen with a Pokémon Legends Unova. So I believe what would ultimately happen with a potential Pokémon Legends Unova would simply be to explore this history of Unova in a similar way to what Legends Arceus did with Sinnoh and its ancient history, which would of course culminate in the reunification of the original dragon in some way. Personally, I think that's completely doable because, like I said, we saw it happen with Legends Arceus, and it also allows the time frame of the game to be based on an actual period of America's past. So that is the concept we are going to be operating under throughout the rest of this video. So, as stated, the idea is that you, as the player, have just stepped off a boat from the Galar region, looking to make a new home in fledgling Unova. At this time, Unova would be looking to settle itself into the modern version of the region that we see in Black and White, and just like you as the player, it has recently seen a lot of exploration from people of other regions like Galar. Now, when it comes to what the name of this region would be at this time frame, we of course know that Sinnoh was formerly named Hisui, and while many regions in Legends Arceus were referred to by their modern names, meaning they had already been properly established, Unova was a region that was not mentioned by name, at least from what I saw while playing the game and looking out for it specifically. I could be wrong and possibly just missed it, in which case the region would just be named Unova, but following in the footsteps of Legends Arceus, and with it possibly having a name that's up for grabs, I feel like it would be really cool if the region was known as Alios at this time. This is a name that apparently was going to be the name of Unova during development of Black and White, according to official pre-release material, before plans were changed for some reason. And so I feel like reviving that name in this way would be really cool, and it's honestly just a great name in general. Alios could be what the region was called in the distant past when it was first founded during the time of the Twin Heroes, and over the course of the events of the game, as people from other regions pour into this new land, it will come to be reorganized and known as the Unova region. With many people pouring into Alios from all over, one person that has arrived here would be the Professor character, and on their way to Alios, they will have arrived with 3 Pokémon that will be used as the starter Pokémon of this game. These 3 would be Chespin, Torchic, and Totodile. Now, assuming that the starter formula from Legends Arceus was carried over into future games, the starters in this game could truly be any number of combinations. But I felt like these 3 fit together very well, and also fit with the concept of this game pretty well. In a similar vein to Legends Arceus, your objective would be to explore the Alios region, and while you would of course be catching Pokemon throughout your journey, the goal this time around would be more so to explore the region for the purpose of settling the area and creating more towns, which would eventually become the towns and cities we see in Pokemon Black and White. The game would have you start in an early version of Castelia City, as it is the city with all of the ports that you naturally would have first arrived at. And as the capital of Unova, it also just makes sense to begin your journey here as well. Settling what will become all of the towns and cities of modern Unova, you will of course run into many familiar faces that will correlate to what we see in the modern games. For instance, you could establish the future site of Nimbasa City with the help of Alessa's ancestor. You could be asked to explore the area around Isurus City by Bryson's ancestor. And you could even be asked to set up a formal laboratory by the professor and help them to research there, in the area that eventually will become Nuvema Town. Throughout your travels, your starter Pokemon will of course also grow in strength, and eventually, just like in Legends Arceus, they will evolve into new, never-before-seen Aliosan forms. If you choose Chespin as your starter, you will see it evolve into Aliosan Chestnut, which becomes Grass Steel type in this form. Since these Pokemon are based around chestnuts, Aliosan Chestnut is primarily based on the Chestnut Blight, which was a period of time where many chestnut trees in North America were killed by a fungus that was introduced from Asia. As such, upon arriving in Alios, Chespin and its family would discover that they were susceptible to a local disease or poison, which causes Aliosan Chestnut to adapt and develop the steel type in order to protect itself, which works well since steel is of course known to be defensive and is also immune to the poison type. Meanwhile, if you choose Torchic as your starter, you would see it evolve into Aliosan Blaziken. Blaziken in this region would become Fire Electric type, and would be based around the famous event involving Benjamin Franklin, and his flying of a kite during a thunderstorm, an event which allowed Franklin and others to further the world's understanding of electricity. This would be because a lot of weather vanes are decorated with roosters on top of them, and this weather theme fits well with the Benjamin Franklin incident that is the primary inspiration. Additionally, according to the Franklin Institute on their website, the electricity that was collected by Benjamin Franklin's kite experiment was referred to in recorded accounts of the actual event as electric fire, providing another cool link between this event and the Pokemon's typing. Aliosan Blaziken even takes inspiration from Native American elements as well, to of course reference its new surroundings, and as such is reminiscent of Thunderbird, which is not only a Native American mythological creature, but also a Native American superhero created by Marvel Comics. Finally, we have Totodile, and if you chose this Pokemon as your starter, you will eventually see it evolve into Aliosan Feraligatr, a water ghost type. The concept behind this variant is very similar to what we see with Basque Legion in Legends Arceus. Basically, the inspiration is that with Feraligatr being an alligator, and alligators of course living in the US and having been around forever, and even being related to the dinosaurs, and with this game taking place in the past, the lore side of it would ultimately equate to Feraligatr's extinct ancestors inhabiting its body and giving it the ghost type. You will be able to explore this new version of Unova with one of these new forms of the starter Pokemon. But that's not the only new Pokemon you will see in this game either, as of course, we will also finally be able to get a look at the original dragon itself. Through the events of this game, in some way, shape, or form, the original dragon of Unova will be recreated and allowed to exist once more, allowing us to finally see this elusive Pokemon in all its glory. This design naturally uses elements from all three Pokemon that make it up, Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, and its tail also resembles the Statue of Liberty's torch for good measure. In making sure that this new Pokemon is true to the pieces that make it up, and is also as powerful as a legendary Pokemon like this should be, I imagine that the original dragon would be pure dragon type, but it would also have an ability that would allow it to interchange between electric, fire, and ice as its secondary type, therefore being able to utilize the types of all 3 Unova dragons. As previously mentioned, the original dragon would likely come about as a result of investigations into the original Aliosan people and the twin heroes, similar to Legends Arceus with Hisui's Celestica people. I imagine that, similar to Legends, the main game could end with you facing off against one of either Reshiram or Zekrom after having caught the one of your choice. Then, in the post-game, you would be able to find and catch Kyurem, and once you had all 3 of these dragons, all of them would be reunited to form the original dragon once more, who would act as the final super boss battle of the game, giving you a chance to finally catch this elusive Pokemon after all these years. And that, my friends, is what a Pokemon Legends Unova game could be like. This, in my opinion, is exactly why more Legends games need to exist, because a game like this would be incredible if I do say so myself. What do you think about this idea, though? Let me know in the comments below, and if you would like to see videos like this for other regions, let me know in the comments as well, because I would definitely consider it if this video does well enough. Also, be sure to check out all the artists that I commissioned for this video and whose art was featured with the link in the description, because they clearly deserve it. And with that said, I will be back with another video very soon. Until then, as always, thank you all so much for watching, I love you all very much, and I will smell you guys later.